In an age where energy demand continues to rise and the urgency of climate action becomes ever more critical, the search for sustainable, reliable, and low carbon energy sources has never been more important. We've seen solar, wind, and hydropower emerge as leaders in the quest to replace fossil fuels. But what if there's another energy source, one that's been around for decades and is now making a remarkable comeback? Nuclear power. For many, this term evokes images of disaster and danger from Chernobyl to Fukushima. But in recent years, nuclear energy has been quietly reinventing itself, shedding its old fears and standing tall as a key player in the world's energy future. This is the story of the nuclear renaissance, the rise of nuclear power as a reliable, safe, and non-harmful energy source for a sustainable world. In the latter half of the 20th century, nuclear power was seen as the future, an energy source capable of providing virtually limitless electricity with minimal environmental impact. But in the wake of catastrophic events like the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 and the Fukushima disaster in 2011, public perception soured, and many countries began to turn their backs on nuclear energy. These disasters left behind not only physical scars, but deep-rooted fears. For many, nuclear power became synonymous with disaster and pollution. Public support dwindled, and investment in nuclear energy stalled as governments pushed for alternatives, primarily wind, solar, and natural gas. But times have changed. As the world grapples with climate change, the need for large-scale, low-carbon energy sources has never been more pressing. In fact, experts now say nuclear power is essential to achieving a sustainable energy future. So, what has led to this renewed interest in nuclear energy? For one, advancements in nuclear technology have made reactors safer and more efficient. Small modular reactors, or SMRs for example, are compact and designed with built-in safety features that make them less prone to accidents. They can be built faster and cheaper than traditional reactors, and they offer greater flexibility, including the ability to be used in remote areas or integrated with renewable power sources. Moreover, nuclear power provides a solution to the energy storage problem that renewable sources like solar and wind still face. While the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow, nuclear energy can produce consistent, 24/7 power regardless of weather conditions, making it an excellent complement to renewables. Despite the technological progress, the question of safety still looms large. But let's take a closer look. Modern reactors are designed with multiple layers of safety. Today's nuclear plants are built to withstand natural disasters, cyber attacks, and even terrorist threats. Furthermore, unlike fossil fuel plants, they don't emit carbon dioxide or contribute to air pollution. The fuel used in nuclear reactors, uranium, is incredibly dense, meaning that a small amount can produce vast amounts of energy. Of course, there's the issue of nuclear waste, but here too advances are being made. New methods of waste storage, like deep geological repositories, are being developed to safely contain spent nuclear fuel for thousands of years. In fact, some argue that nuclear waste is not as much of an insurmountable problem as once thought. It's manageable with the right technology and policy in place. When compared to fossil fuels, nuclear energy is remarkably clean. Over its life cycle, nuclear power produces far less CO2 than coal, oil, or natural gas, making it one of the most effective tools for mitigating climate change. Around the world, countries are beginning to embrace nuclear power again. In China, Russia, and the United Arab Emirates, new nuclear reactors are being built as part of national energy strategies. France, which already relies heavily on nuclear energy, is doubling down on its commitment to nuclear as part of its green energy transition. Even in the US, where nuclear power has faced a lot of pushback, there's growing support at the state level for new nuclear projects. The political will is changing. Many are beginning to see nuclear power not as a relic of the past, but as a vital part of a cleaner, more sustainable energy future. Policymakers are increasingly acknowledging that without nuclear, it will be difficult, if not impossible, to meet global climate goals. The most important question we need to answer is this: can nuclear power help us solve the climate crisis? And the answer is unequivocally yes. Nuclear power produces almost no greenhouse gases, making it a key player in reducing the world's carbon footprint. While solar, wind, and hydro are vital parts of the mix, they can't meet the full energy demand on their own. Now, in a world that is rapidly moving towards electrification, nuclear can provide the steady, clean energy required to power everything from homes and industries to electric vehicles. And when paired with renewable sources, nuclear energy can help balance out the variability of the sun and wind, ensuring a reliable and resilient power grid. The nuclear power renaissance is upon us. Far from being a relic of the past, nuclear energy is stepping into the future, smarter, safer, and more sustainable than ever before. As we face the challenges of climate change and strive for a cleaner, more sustainable world, nuclear power is no longer the villain in the story. It's an essential part of the solution. The question is no longer whether we can afford nuclear power, but whether we can afford not to embrace it. The time for change is now, and the energy future is waiting.